this is going to be a very different episode. One I'm kind of excited about because I think this is a topic that's going to resonate with quite a few people. So I have a cabinet here in the kitchen that you have seen before, and it is filled with cookbooks. Some of them I purchased 10 years ago, 12 years ago, some of them even 14 years ago, and I have never, ever used them. I bought them because I thought they looked really cool. I thought that I would use them every day or at least once a week was my hope. And then I stuck it in the cabinet and I never pulled it out again. Well, maybe sometimes to look at it, but it always went back in the cabinet. And that made me wonder, why? What is it about those particular cookbooks that get shoved to the wayside and never used, even though some of your other cookbooks might be something that you use, once a week, twice a week, maybe even more? So that is what this series of episodes are going to be. I'm going to pull out of this cabinet cookbooks that I have never, ever used. We're going to use them and see, should it stay or should I just go ahead and let it go? So let's go ahead and get started. I'm very excited about this one because we're going to be doing 2 recipes out of this book and both of them look really good. And here's the big reveal of what we are going to be using today. We're doing Fried and True, America's best fried chicken and sides. Now that sounds wonderful, doesn't it? And the pictures make for some mouth-watering food. I bought this probably almost a decade ago, actually, on the recommendation of a website that had, some of the top 10 cookbooks that came out this year. I bought it, looked at it, and that's it. And sometimes during that period, I have pulled it out and I've looked at it again, but I've never actually used it. But that's going to change today, because we have 2 recipes that we're going to do out of this. Of course, one of them is going to be fried chicken, and the other one is going to be a really good looking watermelon salad. I've never had watermelon salad before, but I just so happened to have bought a watermelon before I thought of this episode. And when I saw the recipe, I thought that's an excellent way to use that up. So let me show you the first step that I had to do, and then we're going to get into the real work. For the fried chicken, I picked this recipe because it didn't look too intimidating and looked, fairly simple, but yet pretty tasty, I think. I've already finished this step right here, in which you season your chicken and you put it in the refrigerator for 24 hours. Now, I did that last night. I had my kosher salt, garlic powder, salt and pepper over here, and put them all into the bag, kind of scrunched it up as best I could in there, and then put it in the refrigerator. So this is chicken that is ready to fry. Now, since we have a couple of involved recipes of fried chicken, you kind of have to watch it really close. So I'm going to go ahead and get the chicken started and the collard greens, and we're going to let this guy go ahead and cut up that watermelon and start that salad, and then hopefully it'll get done around the same time. So we're going to go ahead, get started, and we're going to see what turns out of this. Alright, we finally got collards going. I started with those because those should actually take the longest to cook between that and the chicken. So we want to go ahead and get this stewing while we're doing everything else. You've seen me do this recipe before. I did it in a few videos back. I'll go ahead and link the recipe in this description box though, so that you can go to the blog that I found the recipe on, because it is so wonderful. So good, I decided to use it again. The only difference is this time we're using collard greens from South Carolina. So we'll see if those can beat the taste of those Georgia greens we had a couple episodes ago. Mitch is well on his way to getting this watermelon salad done, but I just wanted you to take a close-up look. Look how beautiful all his little dices are. He takes such actual time to do something and make it look good, whereas if you've been watching this channel for a while, you'll know I just chop and throw it in the bowl. And so this is gonna be such a beautiful thing to eat and to look on our plate. So we're gonna go ahead, he's gonna finish that, and then we're going to get this chicken started. Something came up yesterday and it's even bigger now, so I wanted to show it to you. Look at that. We have our first little cucumber seedling that is pushed up through the dirt and is getting ready to shed that seed head and make some true leaves. Now our oregano looks much the same, but as you know, oregano is pretty slow grower, so that's pretty normal for that one. And of course, we've got our little tomato that we're taking care of right here. Now, you're probably wondering why they're in here under grow lights, and that's because Tennessee suddenly got really, really cold. It dropped down in the 20s at night. We've got one more night of that. Then I will be able to safely put these little babies back in my greenhouse. But for now, they're being coddled in my craft room. And now some of you have mentioned interest in the program that I am in currently. I will keep you posted as to how that's going. I've been learning so much in this master gardening program. I've really enjoyed it so far, but it's fixing to get way busier really fast. Now, most states have a master gardening program, but some states don't. So I'll go ahead and link below in the description box a link to the website, to UT Horticultural website. They have tons of information on greenhousery and vegetable gardening and trees and shrubs and ornamental flowers, just tons of information. And so I'll link that below because it's free to the public. You don't have to be in this program to get access to that. Hopefully some of them articles will be helpful to you if you're starting out gardening, or if you've been gardening for years but you just want to get more efficient or maybe learn some tips from the masters. So I'll go ahead and do that, and yeah, I think you'll really like looking through that website. All right, I feel like we've been frying forever, but this is the last batch. It looks beautiful and golden brown. So I think that's ready to pull out. And our greens are looking really good and ready. I think that means it's time to eat. Man, is this a dinner. This to me is summer in the South on a plate.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, I don't even know what to try first. You know what? Chicken's the star of the show. Let's just dig in that one. I'm just going to pick it up and take a bite out of it.
Mm-hmm. Do it like we do in the
Yeah. Oh my God. Is that the best fried chicken we've ever had?
It's up there.
Because I'm kind of thinking it is. I don't remember it. Okay. The juiciness of it.
Oh, you definitely.
The crispy crust.
Yeah.
The seasoning. Oh my gosh.
The seasoning is like a slow burn too. Like you don't notice it when you first bite in. Like when you first bite in, you notice the texture. And the texture is perfect. But then the seasoning kind of keeps going for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Now let's go ahead and try this watermelon salad. Now we did cheat a little bit and we did try it beforehand just because the recipe said make sure to taste it before you dump all the dressing on it.
Right.
But we just used all of it anyway, so.
We tasted it before we used all of it.
Yeah, and then we were like, it needs all of it.
That alone is almost like summer on a plate. Like you think of a southern summer and watermelon, cucumber,
and
tomato. I mean, it's there. That's it. You know what I mean? But the seasonings actually help tie it all together a little bit, to where like nothing stands out to the point where it's like weird.
Right. And the greens we've had before, so we know those are going to be awesome. But as far as this watermelon salad, oh my gosh, even if you don't like fried chicken, or if you're vegetarian, so you're not going to make this, make the watermelon salad because it is spot on.
Like, I almost don't know if I ever want a regular watermelon again.
I know! How can you just eat watermelon? Now we're going to have to add everything to it.
To be fair, though, like, for the two of us, to make a whole watermelon salad is going to be hard for us to get through. Mm-hmm. And you can't really do, like, half a watermelon salad. Like,
a lot of this, like, half of this will be going to my parents.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Make sure you have someone you can share with if you make this recipe.
Yeah.
Because, well, you see, it makes a huge bowl.
Yeah.
So make sure you got somebody. This is the best plate of food I think we've had in a long time.
Yeah.
But that leads us to, should it stay or should it go? Now, we've talked about how wonderful this is. Let's talk about some of the things that we found out. Number one, I think this particular recipe lent itself to more food waste than I was comfortable with. You'll see that I even had a full 1 cup of the milk and egg wash that I did not even use. I didn't even put it in the bowl. So I didn't even need it.
Yeah.
Which means, what do I do with it?
You could have done half of the...
Yeah, you could do, if you've got like a, I mean, unless you just get a giant chicken, then you'll need all of it. But you'll see... yeah, you'll do 2 chickens. But you'll see that the flour, I had a ton of flour left over. I would say if you get like a small to medium bird, go ahead and just cut that by half.
Yeah.
What the recipe recommended, because...
you don't need it.
No, and milk and eggs are really expensive right now.
Right.
So I just wasted, all that milk and egg for what?
Right.
You know?
Just for the fun of it. Basically.
Yeah, just for the fun. So, yeah, keep that in mind.
Right.
I didn't care for that part of the recipe.
Yeah.
You'll also notice that some of these recipes are extremely involved and have a ton of ingredients to it. A ton. One of them even wanted you to fry bundles of fresh herbs so that you could take the herbs and like dip it in the oil and baste the chicken every few minutes. You're roasting garlic in some of them. You're doing a lot. You're also brining in a lot of these recipes, which we all know brining makes for an awesome bird. Now, this recipe is awesome in the taste, and we didn't brine it.
Right.
You know, so it might not be necessary for, you know, some of the recipes, but the majority of the recipes required, you know, you to brine. That means you have to have a large space in your refrigerator, a large bowl, you know,
salt that you're not going to get to use anywhere else.
Exactly. You know, so that could be something that turns you off. And it certainly turned me off because, as you probably have guessed, I never have room in my refrigerator to stick a giant, you know, container of brine liquid with a chicken in it. So that's a bit of a turnoff for me.
Right.
Another thing is a lot of these recipes require, I feel like, large pieces of equipment, you know, so extra large skillets, giant bowls, big dredging things, containers.
So if you're like a big family that you normally cook for a lot of people every time you cook a dinner or something like that, then you're probably... You probably already have it. You probably use this kind of stuff.
Right.
But if you're just like a couple people... even if you have a couple kids, you're probably not going to be making enough.
No, and it's time consuming. All of this is time consuming.
Yeah.
There is not a recipe in this book that doesn't require a lot of prep and a lot of time for.
Right.
So you're going to be in the kitchen for a while.
Yeah. I mean, this one in particular, and this is probably on the lower end of it, with both of us, took a little over 2 hours.
Right, right. Also... and we've complained about this before with some other recipes, so this probably isn't going to be a big shocker. The cleanup. It's going to be a ton of cleanup. We've got a big batch of oil we got to get rid of.
Anytime you deep fry, you're going to end up with something like that.
Right. And we've got tons of bowls, tons of cutting boards, tons of utensils, you know, and that's just kind of par for the course when you're frying and making salads and stuff like that. But that's also something you might want to keep in mind.
Right.
You know, if you don't have the time or if you just don't want to put the time into all that cleanup, this might not be for you. So that's the strange thing with this cookbook. We have awesome tasting recipes, possibly the best fried chicken we have ever put in our mouth. But we also have food waste, tons of time involved, no room in our refrigerator for brining, and a big mess to clean up.
Yeah.
So does that make it worth it? So I'm going to leave it at this. I'm going to think about it for a week because you guys, some of you may know just how hard it is for me to get rid of anything, especially a cookbook. So go ahead and leave a comment below. Do I need to keep this or do I just need to let it float out of my life and make room maybe for something else? Who knows? Or just leave it as a clean space.
Or, you know, and if you've tried the recipe with us and
maybe
let us know what you thought. Like, do you have a better fried chicken recipe that doesn't make much of a mess?
Yeah. Or maybe you're sitting there thinking, hey, with that fried chicken, no, you need to keep it just for that one recipe. So go ahead and leave that comment below. And the next episode, I will let you know if I kept it or if I just donated it.
All right.
So thank you for watching this episode. Really hope if you've got a hankering for fried chicken that you try this because it's going to blow your taste buds' minds. And stay tuned for next week because I'm going to go in this cabinet again and I'm going to find another cookbook that I have not used ever since buying it.
Never cooked out of it.
Never cooked out of it, just like this one. So it's going to be another episode of Should It Stay or Should It Go? So we'll see you then. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later. Bye.
And if you like historical cooking and unusual cookbooks, here's 2 more videos you might enjoy. And make sure to like and subscribe for more foodie adventures.